Hello, all my JavaScript friends. This is TheVirtuoid, aka Mike Smith, and this is our Hold That Tower game. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the statistics class. And the statistics class is what keeps up with the, you'll guess it, statistics. Where does that show up on the screen? Well, let's click on New Game. And everything that you see here on the left-hand side of the screen is part of the statistics class. It really holds two purposes. Number one is for it to be able to keep up with statistics. And that basically means, you know, what your health is, max health, gun damage, runner speed, gun rotation speed, the different prizes and things like that. And I kind of misspoke there. It doesn't keep up with them. The game actually, and the tower keeps up with all that, but is responsible for holding the information for the tower and all that so that it can then display it up on the screen. Like I have with a lot of the classes here, you have the class itself, which does all of the interfacing with the outside world, and then the UI class, which does all the interfacing with the UI. So it's real simple. So this is going to be a relatively short video. I hope. I keep saying short video, and you still make my videos up to 8 to 10 minutes long, but hey, for me, that's short. Let's go to the code and take a quick look and see what we have. This is the statistics class, and it's extraordinarily simple. The idea here is that, again, the statistics class is going to be displaying all the data that you see up on the screen on the left-hand side here. And so the outside world has got to be responsible, able to say, you know, hey, I need you to change the health. I need you to change the how much that restore health is going to be. I need you to change, you know, how much the add gun button is going to be. And all of that is what this class particularly does. For instance, if we want to set the new wave, we set the new wave. But notice I'm calling UI each and every single time, because this basically is going to be a pass-through to the UI. And this will allow the outside program to basically say, I don't really care where you display this information. You just do whatever you need to do with it. And the statistics class is going to say, okay, I'm going to use this particular UI class to be able to send out the information. And so that's basically, as you can tell here, all this particular program really does is a pass through to the UI. Why do we not call the UI in particular? Well, the whole reason is that let's assume we just did the UI class and nothing else. If we, for example, wanted to be able to do a virtual reality game of this, and we had a completely different UI setup, then we would have to change all of the code that is within the main program to be able to say, you know, hey, you know, instead of calling the UI, instead of calling this particular UI, I've got to call another type of UI, and so on and so forth. What this allows us to do is within one line of code here, specify which UI we want to use. And so all the other different programs would just continue to call, set wave. It couldn't care less. This program then will be responsible for saying, okay, I'm going to use this UI here to set the wave. If I'm doing a virtual reality, I would have another UI there to do virtual reality, and so on and so forth. That's the whole purpose of why we created the classes the way we did here. We have the business logic, for lack of a better term, class, and then the UI logic class, so that everything interacts within the business logic. So it couldn't care less what it's going to do with the UI, so we can make displays. We do any kind of display we want to. And so the statistics class is a very good example of all this. Functionally, this does nothing except just call the UI. And so if I was to now add another, like I said, if I was to add another UI here, I would just add it at this line, and everything will technically work like it's supposed to. So let's go to the UI section, the UI statistics, because this is where obviously all of the meat and potatoes for all the UI is for this particular tower. What do we got here? Okay, no big deal here. We do the star, the crown image, and the coin image. That corresponds to these three images you see on the left-hand side of the screen here: the crown, the coins, the crown, and the star. And then I'm keeping count of what the coins, the stars, and the crown count actually is. Get scene, get button upgrade, no big deal. Set the health. We set the health text. So on each one of these things, when we do like the set wave or the set health, we're setting the text. So the whole idea here is that we're going to be saving within all of these different private variables here, we're going to be saving all the information about the physical UI asset that has the wave text in it, or the physical UI asset that has the health in it, or the max health, or the gun damage, or the runner speed, or the gun rotation speed. And each one of these corresponds directly to the numbers that you see in the white box on the left-hand side. And so on and so forth. So the idea here was we do the set whatever, set the upgrade button health limit. This sets the limit of what those health buttons are going to be. The limit for the add runner, the limit for the add gun, because you know what we do basically is that with the limits that we have on the upgrade buttons, when you click on the upgrade button, we then the next time you click on it, it will be a greater number. So this is what all that does. So the key here is in the create section. Within all the UI, every single UI always does a create and always does some sort of update or preload method. There's no preload in this particular method because there's no images to preload, so we're just going to go to the create. And when we do the create, we're going to build it in 4 different sections. The main panel itself, that's going to be where is it? There. The main panel itself is the whole brown thing that you see here. That's the main panel. Then we're going to do the header panel. That's this particular part up here that says hold that tower wave number 1. Then we're going to do the stats panel, and that is this thing inside the white rounded box area. And then finally, we're going to do, let's get back over to the code. Finally, we're going to do the upgrades panel. And that upgrades panel is the bottom section down here. And so those are the 4 different sections we're going to do. And in each one of those, we save off the X, and we pass into it we first start off with our X and Y here, and we pass into it what the current X and Y is going to, what will be the X and Y of the next section. So what I do here within each section here, I did determine, okay, if I'm going to print something else out, whether that's going to be some text or whatever, this is where I want to start from an XY position. So I pass in every one of these the XY, and I return from every one the XY. So what I would expect is after the build panel is done, that the next XY is going to be at the position where I'm going to want to print out hold that tower. And that's basically all it is. The main panel is just very, very easy. We do the fill styles, we do the fill rounded rec, stroke rounded rec, we do it with that the brown color. Yep, there it is, background colors. We can set the background color within statistics. Header panel also is very easy. There's the hold the tower text. I've got some helper routines called add extra large text. Let's just go ahead and take a look at those real quick. These are some helper routines that I wrote while I was doing this. I have something I've called the main text, prize text, standard text. Standard text is basically the font with a 14 pixel. Small text is 10 pixels in size. Large text is 18 pixels in size. Extra large text is 20 pixels in size. So this is basically just some helper routines that I'm calling to be able to print out the different text. And each one of these does the exact same thing. We did the Phaser.js add text routine, giving it the font family, the font size, and the color. And the color I'm passing up here within the routine itself. So let's get back to where we were, and that was in the header. So the header panel was very easy. We did the whole header. We did the hold that tower. Here's where I increment the Y, and then we add the wave thing. And here's where we save the wave text. So when this is called the wave text, since I know the wave text is going to be saved, and when we do the add large text, the return value that comes out of that, I can then use that to be able to update the text value as I go along. And you'll see that right up here where I do the set wave. I'm going to say the set, whoops, I'm going to say, whoa, what did I just do? I hate it when I do that. There we go. Okay, so the wave text, I saved off when I did the add large text, I save off that return value, which is the text object from Phaser.js, and then I can say set text wave, and Phaser.js will take care of the text for me automatically. So that just makes it very, very convenient. And then the stats panel is also pretty much the same way. I create the start image, the crown image, the coin image, and then we print out the health, again saving the health text. I increment the Y to my next where I want the next line to appear. Then we'll do the max health, and I save off that max health, increment the Y, then we do the gun damage, save off the gun damage text, we increment the Y, we do the runner speed, save off the runner speed text, we increment the Y, do the gun rotation speed, and save the gun rotation speed, we increment the Y, then we build the prizes panel. And the prizes panel within here is this part where you have the three images and the word prizes there. So we build that prizes panel with inside here, and that could have been just as easily done in the other routine. Don't ask me why I did it this way. So there's so basically I increment the Y there, and I do the stroke rounded rect. That gives the white outline between all the rest of them. And then I return XY. So the whole process here is that as I'm building each of these different panels, I always return XY, so I will know that the very next X or the very next Y, or the very next panel or the very next text will start at a certain position. The prizes panel, which we just got looking there, is very, very simple. We put the three images on the same line here, and then we also put the text on the same line while saving up the coins text, the star text, and the crown text so that I can increment those as the runners pick up the different prizes. Upgrade panels work the exact same way. I am creating the different icons, and this is basically where I have images. If we'll go back over to the screen here, you can see them very tiny probably on your screen, but after the words themselves, restore health, add runner, and add gun, we've got tinier versions of the icons, and that's what that section right here is all about. And so we have that, and we have the padding, let text up. So we do the add large text for the words upgrades. I don't care about saving that. I do care about saving the button itself. This is a particular routine called upgrade button. This is a class that I've got here that allows me to, that puts this little, let's go back to the screen here, puts this little thing inside of a number inside of a box and makes it clickable. And by making it clickable, we can go ahead and act upon that particular clickable section. And then we set the position of that. Then we do the same thing with the word add runner, and we save the button add runner because the button is what's going to be upgrading that text. Set that position, and then finally we're going to do the add gun, and we're going to save the button for the gun. And that's pretty much it. As the game runs along, it's going to sit there and call all these different routines that will eventually call, there we go, all these different routines of, set upgrade button runner, add runner. This is the old limit and the new limit. This basically sets the limit on the different buttons, and this is and the button itself. In fact, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick, super quick. I wasn't planning on showing you this, but what the heck. So the upgrade button basically is, this allows me to create the button itself. And it's really no big deal. This is the actual section that builds the button. And then this is where we set the limit. The big one is the update section. The update section updates the amount, sets the fill style, because it either can be red or green depending upon whether it's clickable or not. The stroke style, which will be either a kind of like a disabled gray color or a bright white color. And the foreground color also is going to be either that grayish color or the bright white color. It's going to set the size. And setting the size is what will allow us to be able to, as the numbers get larger, that the size of the box will get larger itself too. And that's pretty much all there is to this one. There's really not a whole lot here, but the real thing here is that this does allow me to be able to say, hey, if this is going to be selectable, so if it happens to be green and we can actually click on it, we're going to emit we're going to do a pointer down on all of them, and if we click on it and it happens to be selectable, which means it happens to be green, we're going to say an update selected into the game event, and the game event is going to sit there and take care of what's going to happen when we updated this particular button. And this button itself will contain information saying what kind it is, whether it has a limit, the type of button, what the text is, the amount, and things like that. And so then the game event will figure out what section needs to be upgraded. So that's really all there is to the upgrade runner. But back to the statistics, all the outside program has to do is call all these different routines: set max health, set health, set upgrade button health limit. The statistics here goes through and does what it has to do, and then changes the text. And that's it. That's all there is to the statistics class. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel to view more videos. Click on the like button on this video and visit us at virtuoid.com. Also, support us on Patreon, where you can get access to member-only videos. Links are down below. Again, thank you very much for watching, and keep on coding.